this episode's called Watch Naomi Try and Organise Her Podcast So That It Works. Hello and welcome to my podcast. I'm Naomi and this is NJ Knits, where I talk about my knitting. And what a fine day it is today. I decided to try and film here so you could see the lovely view. However, it seems that there is a sea behind that greenery, but I don't think that the computer wants to focus on it. To be fair, actually, when I'm looking... Oh, wait. You just saw it for a second. Sorry if this is making anyone a bit sick. Anyway, point is, the sea is back there. I thought I would show you the sea, but you can't actually see the sea. To be fair, even me looking, it's very similar in colour to the sky. But it's there! It's there! We are still in Morocco, but in a different part of Morocco. We are at the coast, obviously, the seaside, in a town called Essaouira. And I'm going to check and see if the sound is doable or not, because there's wind. There's lots of wind here. It in fact was not doable, so we are trying to go the airport route. It's not currently windy, so I'm going to start and wait for a touch of wind and then stop and listen again. I'm hoping some of the mullet will just cover up the wind noises. But yeah, can we... You to focus on the sea again? Anyways, it's just the sea, it's fine. I have a frustratingly small hotel teacup filled with some silver needles tea from Bird and Blend. There's some wind. I even got the bag out to show you. It's called Nearly Nirvana. It's one of my favourite Bird and Blend teas. I love Bird and Blend, like all their teas are amazing. But this one is delicious. It's very nice in the summertime. Luxury white silver needle tea with spiritual spearmint and heavenly jasmine. White tea, Chinese green tea, jasmine blossom, spearmint, and orange blossom. Very nice. Okay, time to check the sound again. Oh, the joys of podcasting from hotel rooms. You can never get the lighting quite right. So we came inside because we were not having that wind, and then I had to turn around, so you now don't get a non-view of the sea at all. You get a view of my bed with Glenn, my travelling round seal who comes with me wherever I go. Anyway, it's a bit of a mess back there, but never mind. So let's begin. I've got a really exciting programme for you today. I'm going to read off a comment from last video, and then I've also decided to take you through some of my favourite summer tees. I was going to do tees and vest tops or like summer like bralettes. I chose about 10 of my top favourites of each. I might just do tees this time and then do the bralettes and camisoles next time. Just spread some content around.
but I might do them all. We'll just have to see how the time takes us. I've only got about 45 minutes, so probably just teas. I've got some FOs, quite a few FOs for you today, and then a couple of whips, one whip actually, and one just soon to be cast on. So let us begin. First off, what am I wearing, you might ask? Well, this is just a top from COS, but this, my friends, is a finished object. This is my freestyled scrunchie, done in the style of the scarf number 1. I've got some of the garter here, and then here is the lace pattern. I mean, it's just very random. I've actually been wearing it a lot. It's very nice and soft, and works out really well. Looks like when I attached it, I may have done so. It might have a twist in it. I've literally never noticed that. But I just used up all of the tiny scraps from my scarf number 1s that I made, and no, I don't think it does have a twist in it. Oh yes, it does. Oh, I don't know. Never mind. Doesn't matter. And yeah, my hair is actually long enough that we can do a little scrunching up if we want. It's very soft. I highly recommend a bamboo scrunchie. Very, very soft. I look like an 18th century boy now, as my friend would say. But yeah, wear it around my wrist, and you know, it's a nice little thing if I want to put my hair up. So that's my first finished object. I think, yeah, it's quite easy to see here. Oh, that light is very stroby. Shall I turn it off? I think I can turn all the lights off. And this hotel room has a thing called General Master light switch just by the bed that turns off every light in the room. Genius. Genius. You don't have to go around worrying about which lights are on and which are off before you get into bed. Chef's kiss on that idea. Very good. Anyway, I'm actually going to try closing the curtains to see if we can get some filtered light so we don't get this like blowing out. Or is that now too dark? No, I think that's fine. Lovely. Very nice. So, everything is completely out of order, but my first things first, I'm going to read off my comment from last video. This one just made my day. It was from Sherry Kramer. Please excuse if it's Shari. But she said, "Wow, lots of problems in watching this video. First it just shut down, then it froze up, but I shall forge on because I must see what NJ has knit and discover what conundrums she has gotten herself into and out of." Well, Shari, let me tell... Ooh. Spoiler alert, let me tell you, those conundrums with the Egwene sweater have continued. So this week you will see even more conundrums, and I love your faith in me that I get myself out of these conundrums. But this time that Egwene, it got worse and worse and worse. So if I can update you, if I can bring you up to speed, watch the last video if you haven't, but if I can bring you up to speed on the old Egwene cardigan, it's actually similar to another comment from Kitten Pearl, which also made me laugh. She says, "Thanks for showing off your Welcome to the Jungle. Listening to you talk about it was like watching the Simpsons monkey paw bit. I've got my mojo back, that's good. But I'm still increasing stitches, that's bad. The swirls are easier to knit, that's good. But I can't read the low contrast yarn. That's bad." Well, the Egwene cardigan, unlike the Welcome to the Jungle, which keeps going back and forth between bad and good, Egwene cardigan is just like oh, this happened, oh, that's too bad. But then this happened, oh, that's even worse. And then this happened, oh, that's really too bad. And then this happened. So we started off, knit the Egwene cardigan quite happily. I put the sleeves in upside down, so the decreases were on the top. And they were a little bit too tight. And I didn't like the way that the cardigan sat on my shoulders without short rows. And then I put buttons on, which I wasn't convinced of. And then I washed it, and the buttons bled on the white cardigan and made it look like it had, like, lipstick stains all over it. That's also bad. And then, this is what happened next. I tried to dye it with eucalyptus leaves. And actually, let me rephrase that to say I succeeded in dyeing it with eucalyptus leaves from Morocco. Very exciting. I dyed it with eucalyptus leaves. I found someone with smaller arms who loved it and was going to have it. I dyed it. All the red came out. It became this gorgeous, very, very subtle sort of like sage, beige, sage. You can't combine those words because if you put a S on beige, it becomes sage, and if you put a B on sage, it becomes beige. So they don't combine, but it's like a sagey beige. Anyway, full-on success, very exciting. Then I laid it out on this truck bed to dry, and it got black spots all over it. I can't show you because I don't have it with me because I gave it to the recipient complete with terrible black spots. Because that's the kind of gift giver I am. It was her last day, and she was flying back home. So I was either give it to her then or not give it to her. And I'm hoping that the black spots will wash out. But in the spirit of having put both sleeves in wrong, I decided to flip the cardigan over, get it wet again, and get the black spots on the front as well as the back. So at least it was even. Yeah, so that Egwene cardigan was just sad. So in order to get my mojo back after that disaster, I got onto knitting some socks. So the socks I kept talking about knitting that I had in my head, I have made. Ta-da! Little pico edged sparkly socks. Now the ends are not woven in on these, which is very unlike me, and the reason is because I've had now with the Egwene cardigan, with other things, doing the finishing touches before I'm totally done and satisfied has bit me in the back enough times that I'm like, do you know what, I'm gonna just check and make sure I don't want to unravel these before I weave all the ends in. So there's a lot to say about these. This is the first one that I knit, and I wrote myself a pattern, and I did them toe up because I wasn't sure about how much yarn I was going to use, and so I wanted to do them toe up. Probably a mistake in hindsight. I did a reverse version of a round toe, starting, from the toe. So I did Judy's Magic Cast On with like 8 stitches, I think. I can share my pattern. I wrote it out. It's not very good, but I can happy to share it if anyone wants to see it. Did a round toe, my version of a round toe. Then, following my pattern, I'd planned to have 48 stitches because this is a DK weight, like a lighter than DK weight yarn. But that was too loose. I tried it on my toe and I was like, this is too loose. So I then did some decreases on the side here, like kind of like evenly, so they made a little V. And I just decreased out 8 stitches, so it became 40 stitches that I was working with. And then I did a bit more, and then I did some ribbing around the foot, kind of where the arch is, just to cinch it in, because this is mostly cotton, this blend. It's got cotton and silk, so it doesn't stretch a lot. My plan has been to put elastic in this picot edge up here. And then I did a gusseted Fish Lips Kiss heel, which the lovely socks therapist messaged me about from one of my prior videos, and I watched one of her videos on gusseted fish lips kiss heel. I'll try and find it for you and link it below. And made the heel with an extra, I think I added an extra 8 stitches back in, so I was at 48 stitches, and I think I did 30 or 32 stitches to work the heel with. I think I used all of the stitches to work the heel, maybe? Anyway, I did add 8 stitches here. I think I might have used a 30 stitch heel. And then I decreased those 8 stitches back out and did a little short because I wanted them to be sort of shorties. Then I did the picot edge, and I wanted to do like a sewn bind off, but I couldn't be asked, and I think I was in the car or something, so I ended up just doing a 3 needle bind off. This sock is a little bit too tight. That's kind of the issue with it. I'll show it to you. I wear it on my right foot because that's my smaller foot. So it's a bit small on me. I've worn these socks now once and a half basically. And this little increase kind of sits in an interesting place on my toe. Here, right where the ball of foot is. Right sort of at the base of the ball of the foot. So it's kind of an accidental interesting thing. Before I wore these, it was a little bit looser, but now it's kind of almost cinched up a tiny bit. This, I reckon, is probably a touch low. I'd rather it kind of here, so just after this bit, maybe, put it. I've seen these on, like, trainer socks in, commercial trainer socks, and I quite like them. So I wanted to just try it, just randomly. And the heel is, I reckon, still a touch tight. So yeah, this looks nice, and this is kind of how I was hoping for it to look, and the height I wanted it to be, and I think the sock fits lengthwise. But it is a touch hard to get on and off because it is cotton and it doesn't stretch a ton, so it's a little bit tight. Then I made the second one, and I thought, well, since I'm sort of like designing these myself, I might as well like experiment with the second one. It's not like it's going to look vastly different from the first one, and it'll save me having to like do changes in a second pair if I do that, or rip it out and make 2 the same. There's no need for that. So I just did a lot of things quite differently in the second one. Firstly, some things I liked, some things I didn't. Firstly, instead of casting on, so I think here I did 4 stitches on each side, so 8 total. I think here I did 16, maybe 8 stitches on each side. So I had 16, and it's given me a little bit of that little like cornery thing, whereas this is just like very nicely round. So I don't like more stitches. I like starting with just 4 and 4 with 8. Then I took out the little side decreases because I was like, we don't need that. But it seemed like a fixing thing and not something that like was an accidental happy accident that actually is quite cool. So I took that out, and I just only increased until I had 40 stitches instead of 48. So I left out my last increase round. 40 stitches, did the whole sock, and for some reason made it too long, basically. I did the extra here. I think actually what happened was when I decreased, I don't know what happened. This sock fits better as looser, but it's too big. So it's actually too long on my foot. I I think I did the same thing with the heel, but I think I just had a larger stitch count in general, in total, than this sock. So maybe actually I decreased down to... I might have started with 40 and took 8 out and then ended up with a 32 stitch sock. That kind of sounds right. Well, I can count here. Let me count here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's 7 fours? I should know this. 7 fours. 28. Yeah, so I think I had 32. Yeah, I had 32 stitches on this sock. And because it was too tight, I thought I'll do more. So I did 8 more, and that was too many more. So this was a 32 stitch DK sock. And it was too tight. But okay. It's just a pain to put on and off because it is cotton. So it's a bit like... But once it's on, it's fine. You know? But it's like to get it on and to get it off, same. So 40 stitch sock, I'll show you how it looks to get on. It's too big. It feels quite nice, but it's too big, too long, and a bit loose. But definitely the right width for getting around my heel diagonal to get on and off. So I think I have enough yarn to make another pair of these socks. So I think I'm going to do that. I have worn these all day and they're fine. There's nothing wrong with them once they're on. It's more just like the getting on and off that's sort of like not ideal. So I was considering ripping them out, and I still might, just to get nicer ones, but that was those, and it did take about a skein and a half to make these 2 pairs of socks, this pair of socks, so I could probably make another pair with the same yarn. I'm not sure if I want to do the same pattern or if I want a different design. I'll think about that, but the drape on this is really lovely and they feel so nice on. So nice. Like just silk is just the dream. It's just the dream. This is cotton and bamboo and silk mix, so it's just like perfect. So yes. Then let me just double check what my whips were last time. So I started another sock in the bamboo pop sock colorway, and this was the 3rd of my set of palette cleansing sock fails. That might be the name of this video, actually. It's quite a nice name. Palette cleansing sock fails. So I was working on this. This is the one, if you're on my Instagram, you may have seen a video of me knitting in gale winds along the beach. This is what I was knitting on. And with this, I love it because you can kind of just be like, okay, I need 2 more stripes before I start the toe. And I'd done that, but this is also not woven in because I'm not sure if I'm going to rip it out. I think I will actually rip it out and just the toe and knit it because it's too short. So that sock's too tight, the other sock's too long, this sock is too short. Everything else about it is the same as the other pair of socks that I made, so it fits perfectly, but as you can see here, my heel, it's just, and the heel actually is perfect now. I've done the gusset on this one, and it fits perfectly, but it's just too short to really stretch it to get it on. So yeah, I think because I love these socks so much, and this is where is the stuff I wound it, I already wound off so that I could start the next sock right away. So this is the wound off section. So I'm gonna have to rewind this to get at the bit that follows this bit, and it will be slightly different in length to the other one because I'll have wasted some of the yarn in joining it, which is upsetting because I was really enjoying how perfectly matchy-matchy the other pair was. But what can you do? When you mess it up, you mess it up. So, yeah. It's a wave of disappointing, of palette cleansing sock fails. And here's the rest of that yarn. This is the colourway... Put it up. But it's also Universal Yarns Bamboo Pop Sock, which is mostly bamboo, some cotton, and then elastic in the yarn throughout the whole of the yarn. So quite cool concept. Makes it nice and stretchy, great for socks. Next we have my Ranunculus, which I have posted a plethora of things on Instagram about. I've made it in a lace weight linen, and this is it actually. It's now blocked and it looks quite different than the pictures on my Instagram. It's definitely lengthened out. It's grown quite a lot in blocking. So I'll show it to you. I did the smallest size and I used the original needles, but as we have established, I'm a very loose knitter, so it turned out quite nice and loose, which is what I was hoping for. The only thing, I only did one thing to change this, so otherwise it's like following the pattern exactly. I'm sure my gauge is slightly different, but this is a lace weight yarn. It's a silk and linen blend. I believe it's 45 linen, 65 silk. So it's actually surprisingly warm because of all the silk content. When I knit this, I thought, oh, I've made it too short. Like, I wanted it to be long sleeved, but it was sort of sitting here, which I didn't have a problem with, but it was just like, come on, I wanted it to be long sleeve and I've only managed this. And I have quite a bit left over. So the one thing I did was with the I-cord finish, I just didn't attach the I-cord to itself at the end. So it gives it this like open, sort of like a notch in the sleeve, which is quite cool and makes it really easy to like, it makes it floppy and easy to like roll up. I'm not super happy about that. I think this was when I was doing it. I don't know what is that? I think that's just maybe a pull. It all needs to be evened out a bit, I think. I thought that was going to happen on its own in blocking, but I'm going to have to actually put some effort into it, I think. Actually, yeah, I'm starting to overheat in this. It's really funny. So I'll show it to you standing up. It's a nice length. It's definitely grown. I think it was about this long before I blocked it. It's grown quite a lot. I reckon with like loose gauges like this, things tend to grow quite a lot. But it's a very like, feels like a very piratey sort of a jumper. Like I'm wearing a fishnet. So yeah, it's very nice, exactly what I was hoping it was going to turn into. And it's acquired a lot of drape since blocking it as well, a lot. It was a lot more like bouncy and less drapey when I first finished it, and now it's like very drapey. But I'm glad that it grew. I was hoping it would because I made it a little bit short, and I'm glad that the sleeves grew because now it's a proper long sleeve ranunculus, which I'm really excited about. Yeah. So, very see-through, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna style it. Have to stay updated on that. Stay tuned for updates on that. Naomi styling a lavender see-through ranunculus. Because I don't know that it's like naturally very easy one for me, styling wise. So that's my ranunculus. Very happy with the yarn I chose for that, and I think it looks lovely. I'm gonna have to really identify where's the back and put a tag in because it's always a challenge. I think I might have been wearing it back to front, but then again, I might not have been. I discovered in this third Ranunculus that there actually are short rows at the front, and that was probably why I thought that I had done something weird with the short rows in the last one I made, because I probably had. Because there was like short rows here, and I must have just somehow messed up where I was putting the front short rows, and they ended up like on the side. So next finished object, finished and blocked, is my Vaara tee. And when I finished this, ta-da, I was worried because it wasn't long enough for what I would have wanted. But I ran out of yarn. I played full-on yarn chicken, totally ran out of yarn, wasn't able to finish all the short rows. The short rows, there was meant to be more short rows at the front, but I did the back short rows first, and then I did the front short rows. And I don't even think I did all of the back short rows. I think I sort of like rushed them a bit because I was definitely running out of yarn. I'd done the sleeves, and yeah, so I was just going till the end, and that was my plan, was to just do the back short rows first, because you can always have the front be a little bit shorter. But you still have that shape, which I really love. Now, I'm not entirely sure what's happened up here, but here it is. My Vaara tee. It's very much, I'd say it's probably quite me, this tee. Here we go, that's better. I like the length of the arms. I like that they kind of like the shape here. There was something funny happening up here, and I was hoping it would block out, and let me put my hair up so we can see the shoulders a bit better. Looks like it kind of has blocked out. There was something funny happening, but it looks pretty blocked out to me. Oh, maybe it's the back. Is there something funny happening there? There was some kind of weird shape. No, I don't think so. I had to pick up around here twice because the first time I didn't do it evenly and it was showing, because you pick up and do an I-cord bind off at the end here, and I should have just like picked up evenly by eye, but I was trying to do like exactly the numbers they said on each little section, and it ended up uneven. So I was like, you know what, that's gonna be obvious, I'll take it out and redo it. So yeah, that's my Vaara tee. I think the pattern has you make it quite a bit longer, and I was, sort of gonna make it a bit shorter. I don't know, there's something about the proportions that still feel a little bit funny to me. Maybe it's the length of the sleeve. Maybe I could have made the sleeve a little bit shorter. So yeah, I don't know. To be fair, I haven't really tried wearing it that much. So maybe I will do that. But yeah, it's made from a blend of alpaca and linen and silk, I believe. The silk theme runs strong. Silk and bamboo seems to be the thing. Or linen and silk, I guess. So yeah, I wasn't entirely convinced of it. I was considering giving it away, but I don't know, I may have, like I said, there was multiple people that were interested in it from when I was doing photo shoots with friends trying on my knitting. But yeah, I was hoping when it blocked I would like it more, and I do like it more. I like the length, it's lengthened, but I did try it on and think, I'm not convinced, maybe I will give it away after all. So I'm not sure still. Part of me kind of wants it because I was obsessed with this yarn for so long, and I do love the like fit. It's very me, this like style, so maybe I'll keep it, I don't know. So onto whips. After the fail of the Egwene cardigan, I had enough to make another jumper, and at first I needed just a little break from the yarn because I was like, listen, this was a whole emotional thing. I need a break from this yarn. But I still really wanted a jumper in this cotton linen blend, and I spent a lot of time deliberating, and then I went for my gut, I guess. And I think what happens with me a lot is I choose patterns based on the colour that the designer has chosen. I think that happens a lot. It's because I have no like colour imagination capabilities, really. Same thing like with my Love Number sweater. I just couldn't imagine it in a variegated yarn because Lily hadn't made it in a variegated yarn, but it actually looked really lovely. Anyway, I chose a pattern that was the same colour as the yarn that I had. So I've chosen to make, and actually this is going to be annoying to show you, I would have been able to try it on, but now I've got a sleeve on the go. I chose to make the, drumroll please, the Mimi by, I've forgotten. One moment. The Mimi by Marie-Christine Levesque. And that's what it looks like. I'll show you, I'll probably put a picture up. This is very needles at the ready of me. So I definitely need to block out the ruffle because it's too short. It's not as long as it looked on the pattern designer, but also I saw a lot of the other projects that other people had done. The ruffle looked shorter, so I should have thought about that. I also forgot to change to the larger needle size for the ruffle for some reason. I think it was because I had been doing the bind off. Sorry, I'd been doing the ribbing in the smaller needle size, so then I used the same needle for the body as I did for the ruffle, so I started the first like 3 rows are in the smaller needle size for this ruffle, so I'm a little unhappy with myself for doing that, because yeah, that means that the ruffle's a little bit short, and I really liked the length of the ruffle on the designer's version. I've got a sleeve on the go now, and very pleased with this. It's really enjoyable to knit up. It's knit on 5mm needles, and it's knit with, the designer knit it with cotton. Not the same blend, I don't think. It's 100% cotton, but definitely with cotton. And I was like, that's quite nice as well. Just, I think maybe some of the problems with the Egwene cardigan might have been because I was using cotton and I was meant to be using mohair and wool. Like a fingering wool with mohair, so it's like that's quite a difference in the like what I was using. So yeah, this is fitting really nicely. I'm really happy with it. It's a tiny bit short, which is perfect because it'll block a bit longer. And let me just put something on these needles so that they don't lose all their stitches, and try it on for you. So I'm using the BC Garn Lino. Lino, because it's linen and cotton, and 50% linen, 50% cotton, 5mm needles, and yeah, it's looking really nice. It's kind of exactly what I wanted. I've got one sleeve on this thing, which at some point when I was knitting this and walking around like I do, the other sleeves like holder thing came out entirely. I don't know how that would happen because it was tied like this is, and now this is tied twice, but literally I was just knitting and then I looked at one of the sleeves. I was knitting on the body and I looked at one of the sleeves and it was just free stitches, and I was like, where did that go? It was just gone. And so I was like out in the world with an entire sleeve not on any kind of holder, and I was just like, ah, and my partner Holly was like, just get some just get some yarn and put it on a piece of yarn. And I was like, that's genius. So I used the outside end of the yarn I was knitting on to hold the sleeve, and didn't even cut it off. I just used the outside bit and kept knitting, because I'm that stingy with my yarn. Won't even cut off a small piece to hold my sleeve on. Normally I don't even cut my gauge swatches. I just do the gauge swatch and then immediately unravel it so I can use the yarn. But sometimes I do scrunchie gauge and then I cut it off. So here it is. Very cute. Very pleased with it. I just really want this ruffle to be like that much longer. That's what I want. But it's super cute. I'm okay with this neckline. It's a little bit wide for me. I don't like wide necklines because I have quite a big trap muscles and they kind of just looks funny. Also with this light, it's doing an extra funny thing. But anyways, I tried this on and my friend was like, you should just have it as a t-shirt. And I'm not gonna lie, it's vaguely tempting to just have it as a t-shirt, but I really did want it as a long sleeve for some reason. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? A t-shirt or long sleeve? I'm very pleased with it though. Like, after all of these fails, I'm really pleased to have something that I actually really like. So that's exciting for me. Yeah, I don't know. It is definitely very tempting as a t-shirt, but I think if I did a t-shirt, I would have to bind off now, basically. It's pretty much done, I think. Don't want it too long. On the pattern, it has it sort of like the t-shirt option is about this long, and I don't love how that looks. I think it's probably because the difference in length from the ruffle and the sleeve. But even this actually is almost kind of good enough. Just, I don't know, without even picking up at the underarm, just doing it Ranunculus style, where you just have the cap and that's it, and you bind off. I think that's pretty cute. But I don't know. I was hoping for a long sleeve. So yeah, that's my Mimi. I'm not sure if I'm gonna finish it right away, because I'm about to start a test knit, which I'm very excited for. I'll take this off carefully because of my ridiculous situation. That's actually worked out fine. I just used the ends of these to stop at the needles basically, and it's worked out perfectly. Now I can just take these off and carry on knitting. And that's just very long. So yeah, I've got the rest of this, which is probably most of a ball of yarn, and then I've got 2 more balls, so I've got plenty to make the sleeves. So this is very exciting. I just swatched for a new test knit for Lily from Lily Kate Makes, and it's such a cute top. It's called the Take Turns tank, and it's a tank top, and it's the most beautifully fitting tank top. It's sort of just this shape. It's a very simple shape, crew neck, sort of rounded armholes, and then fitted. And it's absolutely, sorry, I'm just looking for my top because I'm always undressed in front of you. It's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And it's got this really cool stripe feature at the back. So it's knitted top down, and I've been looking for the beginning of my fade extravaganza for a very long time, and nothing is really fit. But this is perfect. So here is my fade that I got last summer in Canada. Don't know if you recall. It's from Gathering Yarns. The sun's out again, I'll close this. some gathering yarns, and it is The Harvest Is Here, stock lots from mills. Oh, that's just... So it is Lino Ramie, so 60% cotton, 28% linen, and 12% Ramie. It's a fingering weight, and it's done in this fade. This fade here, which is just glorious. So my concept was to have a fade where you went from top to bottom and the whole thing just faded, but they were different items, different garments. So the top is going to be, and this is the first colour of the fade, so it's very similar to this colour. Very, very similar. So the top is the Take Turns tank is going to be in this colour. This is my swatch, which is going to turn into a scrunchie, but I think I'm going to cut it in half because this is a bit long for a scrunchie. It's quite a long scrunchie. So it's also very different in gauge. So the pattern said 24 stitch gauge and suggested a 3.5mm needle. Oh, this is what I get with the 3.5mm needle. That's like a... Let me tell you what... Oh no, I don't have... It's like 15 stitches per 10 centimeters, maybe 18. I don't know why I'm such a loose knitter. So then I did 3mm needles, and that was still far too loose, nowhere near 24. Then I did 2.75, still far too loose. Then I did 2.25, and that was still only 20 stitches per 10 centimeters. Finally, I did a 2mm needle, and I got gauge. I blocked it, and before blocking, I still wasn't quite at gauge, but I was like, this is the last size I have. But then after blocking, I got gauge. So that's good. So instead of a 3.5, I'll be using a 2mm needle on this one. And my concept is there's stripes along the back of the 7 stripes along the back of the tank that are done raised. And so what I'm going to do is make the tank in this colour, or this colour followed by this colour, which is very, very close. And then I'm going to have the raised stripes be faded. So the concept is I've got 4 colours here, and I'm going to do it because the stripes need to be a bit thicker, so I'll do it held double. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one will be just this held double, and then number 2 stripe will be this held with this. Number 3 stripe will be this by itself, 4, this held with this, 5, this by itself, 6, this held with this, and 7, this by itself. So it will be like a fade on fade on fade. And then that will just use up a tiny amount of these yarns, which I'll then use to hopefully make myself a pair of shorts. The pattern of which is still undecided as yet. So that's what I'm about to cast on, literally. Casting it on in the next 5 minutes as I go down and go off to work for a short period. So I'm going to pause it there, and I'm going to come back to you with my summer top suggestions. I have a huge favourites list on Ravelry, and I spent some time going through it recently and picking out some of my top ones and trying to sort of focus on some that maybe you haven't heard of or don't know, maybe. And I'm going to go through them with you to share. So I'll see you in a little bit. If I end up making that as a separate video, Caroline from Caroline's Knits and I are running a little cowl, which is basically called the oddball along, and it's basically using up odd balls that you have left over from things, or just balls that you have in your stash, using them up. So if you want to join in, it's very casual, and just use the hashtag oddballalong on Instagram. There's a chat on my Discord channel, which is njknits, the Discord channel. So there's a chat for the oddball along there if you want to talk about what you're knitting, or if you want to show some oddballs of yarn and try and get some ideas for what to do with them. Hop over there and we'll chat, or use the hashtag and share some ideas or really great patterns you have that are stash busting or can use up that random ball of yarn. And this actually is a perfect pattern for the oddball along, because a lot of people in the test group are using a ball of yarn that they've had but they haven't known what to do with, because it's kind of an odd ball and they're using that for the stripes along the back of the tank, because the stripes are raised, so they're not actually against your skin. So you can use like things that you might not enjoy, like right next to skin, or things that might not be great summer yarns, you can put them on those stripes just as a contrast, because they're not against your skin, you don't feel them. And you can use any, because it's not part of the pattern, you can use a yarn that has any gauge. So you can use random like art yarns that you might have lying around that you've never known what to do with. Lily uses a slub merino, I think, in hers. So I'm kind of being boring and using like yarn that I have a lot of, but you can use really fun like stash bits and bobs for those stripes. So this is a great oddball along project once it's out. Okay, I'll be back. Hello, I'm back. So to finish up the podcast, first off, look at this. It's one of my Moroccan purchases. This is wax fabric from Mali, and it's cotton that's been woven, and then they make these jackets here. Very cool. So anyways, I'm just back from work, so I'm gonna share with you my top tees, some of my favorites some of my like top tees that I chose out of my list of favorites. I have many more in my favorites, and you're welcome to browse through them if you want. So the first one I'm going to show you is called the Thamnifis Tee by Morgan Waltersdorf, and it is a really cute tee. I chose it because it's a nice shape. It's like a yoke, and it's got a V at the back that ties, and I just love tees with V at the back. This particular one is cropped and has stripes that the designer has, but you can make it any length. It's a fingering weight tee done with 3.5mm needles and uses between 500 and 800 meters of wool. So that's that. The next tee that I want to show you is the Verso tee by Alice Caetano, and that's a tee made with DK and 3.75mm needles, so quite a tight gauge. Uses between 820 and 1440 meters. 5 goes up to a 4XL. It's a really cute tee. It's got long t-shirt. The sleeves are long, which I really like in a t-shirt. It's a top down, and it's got pleats at the shoulders, which I think is really cool. And then a folded base, or a really wide, it might actually just be a really wide, I think it's a really wide ribbing, which is really interesting as well. The ribbing looks like it's like 4 or 5 stitches. That's really cool. Actually, I hadn't noticed that. So that's number 2. The next tee I want to show is called the Summer Shirt by Selena Dyring. That one is done in a sport, so there's a good variety here. This one is a collared tee that buttons up, so everything good. It looks a bit like the Maud tee, but buttons go all the way down like a cardigan. And the sleeves are a little bit wide. Looks like it has a folded hem. So it's sport weight with 4mm needles, uses between 1,000 and 1682 meters. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sizes. And it's meant to be a summer shirt, so meant to be done with, cashmere, apparently, is what the designer used. So I love that tee. The next tee, this is number 4, is the Sunset Ringer tee by Alexandra Tavel, of Two of Wands. I love it. It's so cute. She's got another one that's a different design, but I love the sunset one. I think it's just the cutest thing. I love the colours she's chosen. It's a great way to use up that odd ball of yarn. And I love the colour at the collar and at the edge of the sleeves. I think that's just so cute. It's done in DK and 4.5mm needles between 636 and 1061 meters. She just has 3 sizes, so keep that in mind. Goes up to a 65 centimeter bust. 65? Oh, that's length, sorry. Goes up to 135 centimeter bust, or 53 inches. It's just really cute. I think it's super cute. And it's a raglan tee, and I think it's top down. What does it say? Doesn't actually say, but it's meant to be done with cotton as well. So that's number, what are we at? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, that's 4 on the tees. Number 5, I couldn't resist putting in the Colette tee because it is just so good. I really want to make it. It's by Vitra Design, and it is done in DK with 4mm needles, and it comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sizes. Yeah, comes in 7 sizes. Between 450 and 900 meters. I love it because I love the neckline. I always think it's a bit similar to this, to be honest, but just a little bit higher on her, at least. The sleeve is a nice length, and it's a nice combo of a little bit of ease, but not too much ease. I just love that tee. I think I want it in a really nice wool, actually, instead of a cotton. I'd like it as a layering piece in the fall or winter. So that is number 5. We're at 5. So that was number 5. Now we're at 6, which is the Sakura by Knitting for Breakfast. I think it's really cute. It's a yoked tee with a pattern, so a little bit like the Ranunculus. Not really, actually. It's so cute. I think it's top down. It's seamless. It's done with a lace plus a sport. So maybe she does a mohair with a sport weight yarn. There is a really cute detail on the sleeve as well. So it looks like sort of mock cables around the top, then a space, and then more mock cables. And then there's a cute detail on the sleeve, and there is more pattern sort of on the body. So it's kind of like stripes of pattern, which I think is super cute. And also, I'm a sucker for the colour the designer chose. I love the colour the designer has chosen on this tee. And it looks so cute cropped because it just looks stripy, basically. It's like you've got a little piece of the yoke that's plain, and then the rest just stripes of pattern, which I think is just divine. So number 7 is the Hello from My Colours crop by Jessie Maid Designs. I just love it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I need it. It's going to be so difficult to choose the colours because I find choosing colours really hard, but I just need it. It's done in a fingering weight, and it's done with 3.5mm needles, 3.75 and 4mm needles. it's just so perfect. It's so cute. I want it. That is all. I just want it. So that is number 7. Number 8 is The Ghost Whisperer by Park Williams. As soon as I saw this, I was looking for something I could do in a lace weight yarn that was kind of loose gauge. This is done with lace weight mohair, and it's done with 6.5mm needles. So lace weight, big gauge, I'm all in. It's such a cute pattern. I really want to make it. And that's all I have to say about that. I've seen some people have done it as a dress, and that's just like divine as well. But I'm not so good with layering, and I feel it's great as a layering dress, if that makes sense. Kate's tangled strings always makes it look gorgeous, but I don't think I could pull that off myself. Next up, number 9 is The Outline Tee by Jessie Made Designs. Jessie Made made it on there twice, but I really want to make the outline tee. I want to make it. As soon as I saw it, I wanted to make it, and that's all. I just really want to make it. It was going to be what I was going to make with this fade until I decided on what I'm doing with the fade. But I will still make it. I love it. And then, finally, number 10 is at the top of my list. Actually, no, I actually have 12 teas to show you. Sorry. Number 9 is a very popular one, so I won't spend too much time on it. It's the Friday tee. It's in my queue. It's been in my queue for ages. I have the stuff for it. I love the longer t-shirt sleeves. I love the shape of it, the stripes, the stitch pattern. It's the Friday tee by Petite Knit. It's done with 3mm needles and a fingering weight yarn. I actually bought the yarn that it calls for. How crazy. So number 11 of 12 is the Moonset tee, and it's so beautiful, and I might just have to make it in Knitting for Olive pure silk like Ozetta has done, because it's just so gorgeous, and actually maybe even in white the way she has, because it's just beautiful. I just love it. I love the shape of it. I love the sleeves. I love how like loose it is. It's just all perfect. So it's a fingering weight yarn and 2.75mm needles, or 3.25. And finally, the last tee, number 12, that I'm gonna speak about is another Jessie made. She made it on 3 times. I was trying to be varied and include other types of designers that maybe you hadn't heard of, but you know, you also have to go with your heart, and my heart says Jessie made. The last one is the Ripple crop top, and I have a t-shirt that looks very much like the first photo of the Ripple crop top. It's just a t-shirt I got from some shop somewhere, probably TK Maxx, and it's one of my favourite t-shirts, and it looks so much like that, and it's just like, it's a ribbed t-shirt, I guess, and it's a v-neck, and it's just everything I love. And so I really want to make this, and I've decided I'm going to make it in this, my beautiful Juniper Moon Farms. Originally I was going to make a ranunculus, but instead I made it in that purple, and I don't want another lace weight ranunculus. So I'm so excited. This is going to become a Ripple crop top. And I was about to cast it on when I got accepted in the test knit for Lily Kate. So the test knit for Lily Kate jumped the queue on top of the Ripple crop top because I'm really excited to cast it on. I'm really excited to have it. I'm really excited to knit with this yarn because it's so soft and lovely and squishy. It's called Findley Dappled, and it's extra fine merino wool and mulberry silk. I do love my silk. So it's 50% wool, 50% silk. It is more of a lace weight, a heavier lace weight maybe, and the pattern calls for light fingering, so I'm probably just going to downsize on the size and knit because I'm such a loose knitter. With my Jessie made, with my Lily Kate makes, I found out just how loose of a knitter I am, and it's pretty ridiculous. I generally always size down and knit at a looser gauge, more or less, because I can't be bothered to like get perfect gauge. But with this top, I really want it to fit really well because it's a fitted top. The Lily Kate makes tank, the Take Turns tank, so I really want it to fit well and nicely. So I'm trying to actually work hard to get my gauge, and it was definitely a lot of work. But anyways, I'm away now. I'm gonna go and have some dinner and cast on my my Take Turns tank in the car, and that's that. I'm very very pleased to have gotten the time to sit down and speak with you. I really enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. And if you did, share with your friends and leave a comment and maybe subscribe if you want to. No pressure or anything, but that would be cool. Oh look, the sun is making a shadow of my computer. That's very strange. It's like breaking the fourth wall. I'm actually talking to a computer and not to you. Okay, see you later!